Hey guys, Jay here. You're going to notice that this is a little bit different episode of Poppy Culture. Adrian and I were talking about doing some little mini episodes, throwing them up here on the feed to give you guys extra content. We don't really know what we're going to call them. The working title is Shota Culture, because it's going to be much shorter, so instead of sipping on a nice long beer, I will just be having a shot during this episode. I have my Green Lantern shot glass here, and I have some Winchester straight bourbon whiskey, so that will be what I'm taking a shot of. So in these episodes, instead of going on and reviewing a bunch of the comics that we've read that week or TV shows that we've watched or whatever, we're going to pick one thing that maybe wouldn't get talked about in depth on an episode and spend, 5-10 minutes on that. So excuse me while I take my shot here. Bottoms up. That is some good bourbon whiskey. So what I'm going to be talking about in this first of many to come mini episodes is the comic Morning Glories. I think I've mentioned this on the show once or twice before as something that I'll buy 3 or 4 issues of here and there and kind of just binge on. It's been going on for a number of years, longer than I heard of it. The first issue came out in 2010. It's up to 42 issues now. So if you do the math, it's coming out essentially once a month. They've missed a month here and there. I think they went about 3 months without having an issue, and that's what puts them at 42. I'm only up to issue, I think, 30, so I've still got another dozen to go. But essentially the premise of the story is, it reminds me of, there was a show a few years ago, you may have heard of it, kind of this weird mystery show where a bunch of people got grouped together and certain elements of their environment were kind of strange. You'd learn different things here and there, all these plot twists and turns. Like I said, you may have heard of it. It was called Lost. This kind of reminds me a lot of that, except for instead of people that were in a plane wreck, it's some students that get accepted to this prep school called Morning Glory Academy. It's supposed to be one of the best prep schools in the country. Really, really tough to get into. But they all get the 6 main characters all get into there. The book is created by Nick Spencer and Joe Eisma. And it looks like they've been on it the whole time. Other artist credits go to Alex Salazzo and Johnny Lowe. They may be pencilers, inkers, something like that. I'm not sure. But essentially the story follows 6 characters: Casey, Zoe, Hunter, Ike, June, and Jade, as they get into the school and they start figuring out stuff. One of the first things they figure out is that they all happen to be born on the same day, which is super weird, right? So once they find out that about themselves, they start going into other students in the school that have been there for a bit and find out that everybody in the school is born on the same day. Super weird. And as the story progresses, they just find out more and more weird things about the school. At one point, Casey finds something unfortunate has happened to her parents in the school. Also, after they get to the school, their parents stop knowing who they were, like they never existed. But the thing that I really like about this book is every couple issues they throw in some huge plot twist that you don't see coming. And it's not one of those things where it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, they're doing this for shock value. Like, it really pushes the story forward and makes you be like, WTF, I need to read the next issue. And that's kind of where I'm at with it is, I hesitate to buy an issue of it, and this is something I'm reading in digital, so all it is one click to buy an issue. But I hesitate to buy it because I know as soon as I finish an issue, I'm going to want to buy the next 4, 5, 6 issues and figure out what's going on. They've gotten to the point now where I'm at, where they've started putting in, because there's been so many twists and turns, and it's so hard to follow, they've actually put in essentially a recap type thing at the end, where it's somebody speculating on what they think is going on. They say it's an editor on the book or an editor at the company that's published by Image, so it's somebody else speculating, but essentially it's just there for you to be like, oh yeah, I remember there was this plot thread that was left open 10 issues ago and now they just did something to reference it. For instance, in issue, I want to say it was like 27, 28, they call it was either the end of the first act or the beginning of the second act, I don't remember what, but there was a lot of things in there that at the end they said, now this scene may look familiar because this is the exact scene that you saw at the very opening of the first issue. The first issue kind of drops you in and you see some stuff going on, and then says, a while back, these students got admitted. So they keep tying stuff back. So Nick's doing a really good job of maintaining all those plot threads and always coming back to things, not leaving things undone. The story arc in the mid-20s, I want to say it was, involves other kids at the school that were actually from another school first, and there was some kind of confusing stuff happening there. But they're kind of bringing it all together and saying, this is, well, these students, this is their past story, this is how they got where they are now, and now here's our students that we were looking at before, we're going to focus back on them. Really good book. The art in here is really, really good. Joe Eisma, I guess, is the head artist. Really clean art, very consistent throughout the whole series. And that's the nice thing about having artists stay on, especially someone who created the characters. They can really maintain a constant art style throughout the whole thing. I know on some of these other books that have been going on for a long time, you get other artists in here and they kind of change things and it's not as good. Obviously, you've got series that have been going on 50, 60, 70 years, so obviously you're going to have different artists come in. But one of the things I really appreciate about this book is the fact that it is pretty much been Joe Eisma doing the art the entire time. So it's very consistent, very clean, and I like his style. It's a great style. So I think that's probably going to be about it for this one. I'll post up a couple images from the comic at the end of this here, so you can see. Again, it's Morning Glories, published by Image Comics. It's been coming out since 2010. 42 issues out so far. I know on Comixology they do have the collected trades. Oh, that's one other thing about this. There's been so much people that have been into this book that when the first trade came out, it sold 10,000 copies in the first month, which is crazy for something that's considered an indie book. I mean, Image, I've said this on the show, I don't know that I necessarily consider Image a indie publisher anymore because it's huge, but it's not one of the big two. So to have exposure of that magnitude at a place like Image, where they do have a lot of really, really good books coming out, that's crazy good. But I really encourage you guys to get into it. If you do pick it up based on this, or you are reading it, do me a favor and give us an email, drop us a line, tell us what you're thinking of it. poppingculturepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, all that. But let me know. Also, if there's anything else that you encourage us to check out, TV show-wise, comics, video games, whatever, give us recommendations, and either Adrian or I or both of us will check it out. You'll either hear about it on the main show or on one of these little shot of culture things. So I'm going to pour myself one last shot to close this out, and then, like I said, I'll put up a couple images that have to do with Morning Glory, so you guys get an idea of the art that I was talking about and all that. But until next time, shoot culture. See you.